Hi, good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss about the normal forms and normal forms. First of all, you have to know the normalization. Normalization is the process of organizing the data into the database. Normalization is used to minimize the redundancy from a relation or a set of relations. It is also used to eliminate the undesirable characteristics like insertion, update, and deletion anomalies. Okay, and normalization divides the larger table into smaller and links them using a relationship like a teacher, student, and some manager, employees. We have seeing so many uh, tables in the database, having a bunch of tables in a tabular format in a row and column structure. We have daily wise we are seeing the customer table with the help of manager. The customers tables are handling by the manager only, and the students table, within the tabular record we hang a fields like student id, name, phone number, address, and their marks, like the manager holding the employee details, employee id, name, phone number, address, and salary details, and these are the some fields. Okay, the different table structures we have there. We have to reduce the redundancy with the having it normal forms of first normal form, second normal form, and third normal form, and boy coded normal form, and fourth normal form, and fifth normal form. We have to divide the large table into smaller structural tables. That means I have to divide the big table into small tables. The normal form is used to reduce the redundancy from the database table. That means the repetition fields. Suppose we having a Ramakrishna in Hyderabad. The same Ramakrishna with the same name having so many other person details also there. You have to identify with the primary key value. That means the unique ID value. The unique ID value is nothing but a bank account number. The bank account number, with the bank account number we have to identify the Ramakrishna, S Ramakrishna or K Ramakrishna, whatever the details we have required. Suppose we have to identify the S Ramakrishna. With that S Ramakrishna we having to identify means suppose you having S Ramakrishna, three persons are there. With that primary key, the primary key is nothing but a bank account number. The bank account number playing a crucial role to identify the S Ramakrishna who are staying in Hyderabad near to Kukatpalli. That means I am giving an sample example. Okay. Here the first normal form, a relation will be a one normal form, one NF. One NF means first normal form. If it contains an atomic value, it states that an attribute of a table cannot hold multiple values. The table cannot hold a multiple values. It must hold only a single value attribute. That means multiple values cannot be held by the first normal form. The first normal form disallows the multiple value attributes, the composite attributes and their combinations. Only a single attribute is accessing, the multiple values cannot be accessed. Okay, and coming to this example, the student number, student name, student phone number, student state and country, and converting into the first normal form. Suppose the RAM having a two phone numbers and another RAM having a single phone number. The RAM staying in Haryana state and India country. Another RAM is staying in Punjab, India country. The Suresh is in another name. But we have only observing two RAMs are there. The two same names are repeated. Here we are splitting the table in a singular table because those two phone numbers we are dividing into another row format. That means the RAM because the RAM having another phone number, the same RAM is staying in Haryana in India. Okay. That means we are dividing the table as per our convenience. Okay, this is a single normal form. One normal first one. Coming to the second normal form, the relational must be in first normal form. This is the basic. We are taking a reference of the first normal form. We are going to explaining about the second normal form. In the second normal form, all non-key attributes are fully functionally dependent on the primary key. Here the primary key means student ID. With the basic ID only we are fetching the all other field values. Suppose you having a state or country, we are getting with the primary key values. The first student or second student, the third student, basing on the roll numbers. Okay. Here giving an example of another example, the student ID, the last name and the professor ID, grade. The which student is taken care of by the which professor? The professor is teaching to the one student, the professor is teaching to the another student, the professor is teaching to the another student. While having three records, basing on the professor and basing on the student performance, we are achieving the grade. 5th grade and 4th grade and 6th grade. The single table can be dividing into the two tabular format. That means student table and professor table. That means two normal forms. First normal form means the table can be divided into single structure and the single tabular format. The second normal form means table can be divided into the two tabular formats. That means student table and professor table. The student taking care of the student is taking guidance by the professor. Which professor? Each student is assigned by the each professor as per the taking care of the consultancy. Okay, that means two tablets are dividing by the second normal form. On the basis of the single table, we are taking a reference of the student ID and professor ID. We are fetching the data in a grade format. That we are observing the third table of the grades table. The common ID we have the student ID and professor ID of the same values. We are splitting the grades: third grade, second grade, and first grade. The 5th grade, 4th grade, and 6th grade means the ID proofs of the student ID proofs and professor IDs. We are gathering those IDs, the which grade belongs to the which student and is the given by the which professor performance under his, the student taking by performance on the guidance of which professor. That means this table is easily can be divided into two tabular format. Third normal form. A relation will be in a third normal form if it is a second normal form and not contain any transitive partial dependency. There is no transitive dependency. The third normal form is easy to reduce the data duplication. These are all for the first normal form and the second normal form, the third normal form. We are identifying the repeated words to reduce the redundancy. That means we have to repeated records, we have to reduce those repeated records, we have to identify the single record as per the customer satisfaction and as per the user requirement. It is also easy to achieve the data integrity. If there is no transitive dependency for a non-prime attributes, then the relation must be in a third normal form. A relation is third normal form if it holds at least one of the following conditions for every non-trivial function dependency. That means x dependent to the y. The x is dependent to the y. That means here the three tabular formats are there. While this is an example of the third normal form. Here with the student number we can capture the student names. With the student number we have to identify the student states. With the student roll number list we have to identify the which country the student belongs to. With the student number we have to identify the age, 20 years of age, 19 years of age, 21 years of age. That means we can divide the data with the help of primary key. We can fetch the any field values, any field attributes with the primary key values. That is nothing but a third normal form. The single tabular format can be divided into multiple tables. Okay, the boy coded normal form, the BCNF, is the advanced version of the third normal form. It is also basic reference to the third normal form. It is stricter than the third normal form. The table in a BCNF, if every functional dependency extends to y, x is the super key of the table. X is dependence to the y means x is the super key of the table. For boy coded normal form, the table should be in a 3NF. The boy coded normal form, the table should be in a third normal form only. And for every functional dependency, left hand side is super key. For every functional dependency, left hand side is super key. Coming to the example of the boy coded normal form, here the student course ID, teacher ID, student, teacher ID, course ID, teacher ID. That means one tabular format is dividing into multiple tabular formats with the student ID, teacher 1, T2 and T1, T2. Which course she is studying or he or she is studying, RDBMS, C++, RDBMS, C++. And coming on to this table, we are splitting the table into two tabular formats. This is also boy coded normal form. Here what happened means the left hand side is having a super key value. The left hand side for every table you can observe that here the student ID is the super key. For the second table, student ID, teacher ID. Teacher ID is becoming a foreign key. If the primary key is already there, student ID is already there, no? Here the coming to the course teacher, course of the course ID and teacher ID. That means course ID is the left hand side of the functional dependency of the boy coded normal form. For every table format we having a left hand side, the functional dependency value is there. That is a specific line for the boy coded normal form. Okay, and coming to the fourth normal form, a relation will be in a fourth normal form if it is boy coded normal form. It is basing on the boy coded normal form and has no multiple value dependency. No multiple value dependency. For a dependency A tends to B, if for a single value of A, multiple values of B exist, then the relation will be a multi-value dependency. That means the single value of A, multiple values of B exist. Multiple values are already there. If a single value, for a single value of A, multiple values of B exist, multiple values of B already exist, then the relation will be multi-value dependency. That means not a single to single, the single to multiple value dependency is there. Okay, has no multi-value dependency. In a boy coded normal form has no multi-value dependency. Okay, here what happening means the project code. With that project code we can identify the project name and the project budget. Here the table as an assignment. With the assignment number we can identify the employee number and the project code. Here with the employee number we can identify the employee last name. With the code, organization code, we can identify the organization name. And with the employee number we can identify the organization code. Okay, in the same way the fourth, here we are splitting the table into four tabular formats, fourth normal form. And coming to the fifth normal form, a relation is it in fifth normal form is if it is in fourth normal form and not contains any joint dependency, and joining should be lossless. 5NF is satisfied when all the tables are broken into as many tables as possible in order to avoid the redundancy. For these are all the normal forms. As per the repeated data, you have to hold the repeated data. Repeated data means redundancy will occur. We are stopping the redundancy for the repetition of data. To stop the repetition of data, we are using the different normal forms as per the dependency cases. We are using the first normal form and second normal form and third normal form and fourth normal form and fifth normal form. Here within the fifth normal form, it has for the project join normal form. Another name is the project join normal form. Here the table can be divided into 5 tabular formats. What happening means with the S name and the part name, project name. S name, part name and project, S name and project name, a part name and project name. Here the values are dividing into the different tabular formats. Okay, what happens, we are identifying the repeated data, we are dividing the tables in a, we are, as per our user convenience, we are dividing the huge table into small tabular formats with the help of first normal form and second normal form and third normal form and boy-coded normal form and fourth normal form and fifth normal form. These are all the normal forms to avoid the redundancy, and we, as per the single value dependency and multiple value dependency and multi-value dependency are there. As per the user convenience, as per the user requirement, we can use any normal form within the database. Thank you all of you, and please subscribe my channel and Jai Sri Ram educational channel. Thank you all of